Hi, I'm excited to be with you here today to talk to you about 10 tips on how to be a great virtual presenter, meaning how to be wonderful at doing a listing presentation virtually through a computer screen. Before we get into that today, I wrote down some thoughts that Mike has shared with me before about qualities of a great presenter. So I want to jump into that, and then I'll share with you the tips that are going to make you fantastic when you go to present virtually. So let's write down some thoughts about qualities of a great presenter. Number one, Mike says, if you want to be a great presenter, you need to have 100% belief in yourself, in what you're saying, in what you're doing, and what you're expecting to have happen. So do you have 100% belief in yourself? You need to work on that. How do you do that? You practice. Number two, to be a great presenter, a highly professional image. How are you presenting yourself? Are you dressed for success? That goes without saying. It's as important virtually, even more important virtually, than doing it even live, okay? Number three, a strong, upbeat, positive attitude. Are you positive? That goes without saying. We need to make sure that we're always positive when we're presenting. No one wants to see a dud. Number four, Mike says, take control of your environment. What he's referring to here is your mindset. Are you hanging around or spending time with positive people? What are you reading or listening to that is putting good positive things in your brain? Are you watching Mike Ferry TV every week? We need to have a positive environment in our brain. And when it comes to selling virtually yourself, you've got to have a good, clear environment around you. We'll talk about that a little bit later. Number five, a great direct approach. No one wants to work with anybody who's wishy-washy. You need to be direct. It's very important. Number six, high expectations that there is no one better than you to get that listing. Number seven, tremendous energy. Not kind of, simple energy, tremendous energy. And number 8 point about qualities of a great presenter, endless enthusiasm. We all know, and Mike tells us 100 times a year, maybe 1,000 times a year, that people will work with you because you're enthusiastic. So before you do your virtual listing presentation, I want you to run through these 8 qualities of a great presenter. All right, now we're going to get into 10 tips on how you can be great when you present virtually. So let's begin. Number 1, you need to make sure that you're clear on the video conference platform you want to use when you're doing your listing presentation. Zoom is a very common one. You're probably all using it. You want to make sure that you're clear on it, you're comfortable with it, and the seller is comfortable with it. So you need to have a conversation with the seller and ask them, are you comfortable with the Zoom presentation platform? And if you are, great, we're going to use it. If you're not, is there another platform that you're comfortable with? Or just give them the instructions. You can just email them instruction on how to use Zoom. What I'm trying to say here, point number 1, is get comfortable with a video conference platform and make sure the seller is too. Number 2, in your pre-listing package, you need to make sure as part of your plan of action, you have a virtual marketing solution, meaning a plan of what you're going to do to virtually sell their home. Are you going to do a virtual open house? What type of video are you going to do for them? Are they going to be doing the video? Are you going to have it virtually staged? So these are the things that you want to make sure that you're adding in your plan of action and in your pre-listing package. Also, in today's environment, in your pre-listing package, make sure that you have your safety protocol in there. Mike says it's okay to email the listing package now, the pre-listing package, so that's also a great tool. Okay, number 3. Let's talk a little bit about one of my favorite things when it comes to virtually presenting. You have to pay attention to the lighting. Look at the lighting in front of me. The key to a great virtual listing presentation is you need to have soft light that is on your face. If you don't, you look really dark and scary. You don't want to look dark and scary. Lighting is critical, so it highlights you. You can see you're bright and light and cheery. The other thing I'll say about lighting is if you have natural light from the outdoors in front of you, it's best. Also, light on each side of you is important. No overhead lights and not a lot of lights behind you. The other tip is if you don't have natural light coming in, you can go to Amazon and buy a ring light, R-I-N-G, light. That's very effective and will be very helpful to you. You want light on your face. It is super important. Take some time and look at the Zoom things you're doing. So if you're on a Zoom chat with a bunch of people, look at how some people, it's dark. So we have to make sure that we're not dark. We need to be light. Number 4, tips for a great virtual listing presentation. Your background needs to be neutral. It can't be cluttery. No laundry should be back here so people can see it. Sometimes we don't pay attention to it, and I'm watching a lot of Zooms lately, and there's a lot of clutter in the background, and I have seen some dirty laundry. It's not professional. We don't want that to happen. The other thing that's cool, with Zoom, for example, and most of the video conference platforms, you can put a screen behind you that has your company logo. And that's really cool. What's even more cool is for the seller is you can drive, obviously, get in your car, drive, take a photo of their house, and you can put their photo of the house you're presenting to in the background. It's really cool. So take some time to work on that. Neutral background is important. Next point, number 5. Eyes need to be at level with the camera, not above, not below, or vice versa. It gets very confusing. People feel weird about it. So be careful with your eyes. Do not look up or down. Next thing, which is super important, number 6, is you have to watch your body language. You can't move a lot. I see people moving a lot, and then it's confusing, and the person's watching you move. The other thing I want to say about body language, hands. We do need to mirror, mimic, and match when we're presenting virtually, just like we do when we're presenting with someone. The key, though, you have to be careful is what you're doing with your hands, right? So I watch people, they're touching their faces, or they're looking at how pretty they are, and you're distracted. The other thing is germs. They're talking about germs right now. So don't touch your face. It's distracting. The other thing with body language is I notice a lot of people, sometimes they're moving and then they get really close to the camera and the person's like, whoa, and they use their hands. You gotta be careful with your hands because you can see if you put it too close, it's scary. And people are uncomfortable with that. When you're communicating and doing an amazing listing presentation virtually, you still have to remember that effective communication is 55% body language, 38% tonality, and 7% is the words that we use. So you still have to engage the seller by watching their body language and matching it. Body language is critical. Next point. To be great, point number 7, to be great at a virtual listing presentation, you need to practice screen share. They all have a screen share. So when you're going to present the CMA portion of your listing presentation, screen share is a very, very effective tool. And it's something that the client can see. So what it is, obviously, is you put the CMA up on the screen. The key to it is that you have to make sure that you highlight with a yellow highlighter the square feet of the home, the number of bedrooms, the number of bathrooms, so that their eye goes to it, and what it's sold for and the days on the market. So screen share is very, very effective. You need to practice it. If you're not practicing it, you're going to screw up and they're going to feel it. So it's a very effective tool. The other thing you can do if you're not comfortable with screen share is when you send them the CMA portion of the listing presentation in the pre-listing package, just mark the page, just number it. 1, page 2, page 3, page 4, and then highlight the number of bedrooms, baths, square footage, what it's sold for on the sheet of paper and just say, please go to page 1. All right, so screen share can be very effective. You need to work on it. Next point I want to talk about is dressing for success. When you're presenting virtually, you can't have a lot of stuff like busyness, right? So you have to dress for success, but you want it kind of a calming color, not too dark, not too bright, and not a lot of pattern. All right? Point number 9, when it comes to presenting virtually, go ahead and ask for the signature while you're presenting, when you close them. So what price do you feel we should use to create value in the eyes of a buyer to get someone to choose your home versus the competition? And they give you the price, you agree on price, let's go ahead and sign the paperwork. I have it up on the screen. May I walk you through it? And let's go ahead and sign it now. So close for the signature. And point number 10 about being great at a virtual presentation, you need to practice. Did I say practice? And practice again. The cool thing about Zoom, for example, is you can go and record your listing presentation and then watch it over and over and over again. And you can look at your body language. You can look at what your background looks like. You can look at what the light looks like. So you need to practice it by yourself. The other thing you need to do, and Mike is suggesting this, is get a role play partner and practice it every day. We want you to be great at presenting virtually so that they choose you versus anybody else you're competing with. Thanks for listening and have a great day.